12 billboards with the message, "Would Pope Francis sign the new Catholic teacher contract?" are now in place across the tri-state.
His comments on gay marriage got him fired, and tonight we hear from the assistant principal at Purcell Marian.
The controversy surrounding morality clauses added by the Cincinnati Archdiocese to its teachers' contracts is growing.
Making the rules clear, or maybe taking the rules a little too far. The Cincinnati Archdiocese is now spelling out what's expected of its teachers and what happens if the teachers don't play ball.
The billboards follow a recent rally against the new contracts, which spell out a morality clause: no public support for things like abortion, out-of-wedlock sexual relationships, or a gay lifestyle.
We found that a number of our teachers weren't really clear on what would be outside of Catholic teaching.
Why is it any of their business? Again, I would understand if someone's going into work every day saying, hey, guess what? That story of Jesus, it's a fairy tale, don't believe it. Or, hey, guess what? You should really have sex before marriage. Or, you know what? You should probably be gay.
Catholic school teachers in Cincinnati are quitting their jobs after the Archdiocese of Cincinnati asked them to sign, or demanded that they sign, a new morality clause as part of their contracts.
Who can keep up? They're against everything, man. They're like, you're looking to have fun in any way, shape, or form. They're like, gay lifestyle.
If I had to pick a specific instance or moment that opened my eyes up to poverty, specifically in Cincinnati, it would be in 2001 when I was a first-year teacher at Moeller High School. And our campus minister at the time sent out an email to all the faculty saying we need a teacher to take a group down to over the Rhine to work with this organization called Restock that builds affordable housing for low-income folks in the neighborhood. And I was new at Moeller. I didn't have any friends at Moeller. I didn't know any teachers at Moeller. It's like my first week on the job. I was like 23 years old. I wasn't that much older than my students. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. So I responded yes to the email. And sometimes it's that simple, not to be melodramatic or profound, but sometimes it's as simple as saying yes. But it's true. I said yes to the email. I went down to Over the Rhine and met a lot of great people. Robert Freaking, who passed away a few years ago. Robert Freaking was a big part of the eye-opening experience for me, and a guy named Kenny McClure, who used to clean the parking lots over the Rhine. He was an old-timer. He'd been in the neighborhood forever, and I'd walk around with Kenny and I'd clean parking lots with him, and while we cleaned parking lots and smoked cigarettes, he would tell me stories of Cincinnati and the riots when Dr. King was shot, and how Cincinnati got to this point, and how we've ended up in a city that has 52% childhood poverty.
I was homeless 11 years ago. I went in the drop-in center, came out of the drop-in center and got a job at Restock. That's where I met Mike, was at Restock. I was a maintenance technician there, and Mike was volunteering with students from Moeller, rehabbing buildings and doing a whole lot of other things in the community. So it really blew up over time, but that's where I met Mike and the Moeller students.
When it comes to Mach 1, I would say, like at first, I didn't really get into community service until I met him and obviously got to know him a lot better. He told me to just show up one day. I showed up, and I obviously got hooked onto it. I basically just helped with clearing lots, helped rehabbing apartments by demolition and all that stuff you expect to actually make it lower income housing basically become a reality. And sure enough, when I went off to college, my time didn't stop there. I actually basically helped him out like a bit as an adult moderator and helping younger kids. Because obviously we're still at Moeller.
Mike was just like one of those really cool people, man. Like Mike is an engaging person. That's who he is. I don't know anybody who would dislike Mike. We were just hanging out and having fun on weekends, and then we got closer as time went on. When we opened up Choice Cafe, that's when we initially got a lot closer, you know what I mean? Mike, I said, I want to open up a coffee shop. I want to do something to help the people in the community, especially the kids. And he's like, let's do it. So we rehabbed the space and opened up the doors.
I mean, with the whole Choices Cafe thing and all the just simple community service aspects that he's provided and the way how his family is and everything, it obviously just puts into place. Like he's a good person that obviously has been very outspoken lately, and I couldn't imagine my life without him. He's obviously a great guy.
I thought I was part of something bigger than me, which was probably for the first time in my life. It was an opportunity to actually help people.
I wanted to be a teacher, and I don't mean this in any egomaniacal way, but implement my vision of what a classroom could be, namely one in which every single student is respected and encouraged to become the best version of him or herself. I always knew in my heart when I was a teenager that school could be better and that teachers could be more accepting. You know, the Archdiocese of Cincinnati has lost 10,000 students, okay, from 2002 to 2012, 10,000. That's not a small number. And, you know, that was a big part of the fire under everyone's ass that, you know, we need to look at how we manage this whole system. And so I was tasked with doing a bulk of the research.
Mike worked hard outside his normal work hours, school hours that were dictated to him. He worked beyond that. I can't tell you how many Saturday mornings Mike would come down over the Rhine and do work with the young men. I can't tell you how many times he would stay late. He'd be the first person at school. I think he had keys to the school. You know, he'd be there before the maintenance staff get there. I mean, that's who Mike was. He's dedicated in whatever it is that he does, and he goes all out.
Purcell Marion was such a beautiful, I love Purcell Marion so much. It was like a microcosm of the whole country. You had students that were homeless, and you had the CEO of Cincinnati Bell Technology Solutions' daughter in the building. You had a girl with Down syndrome on the cheerleading team who was empowered, who nobody saw as different. And since everyone was so different at Purcell Marion, and they're young, which means they don't have all the bullshit baggage that we adults do, everyone got along, and it was a beautiful place. And I saw a lot of potential in Purcell Marion.
Our relationship has obviously gotten to the point where, like, I could simply casually talk with him, go out and just go to a concert with him or something like that. And the education thing does not, actually, you know, get involved there. I just look at him as a simple person. And trust me, like I said before, I didn't see him as that. And that way how he is just an outstanding person.
What Mike did was, he puts them on a personal blog. Mike has the capacity to meet people where they are in life. I don't care if you're impoverished, if you're affluent, if you're gay, you're black, white, candy stripe. I don't care who you are. Mike has the capacity to meet you where you are and accept you for where you are. All Mike was doing was saying that people should have the same freedoms that he has. He had just got married a year prior to that, and he felt like they should be able to do the same thing. Who doesn't have a gay friend?
February 4th of 2013 is when I was asked to recant my statements in full support of marriage equality. So the superintendent, Jim Rigg, came up and he told me I had to take it down. I had to recant my statements. I had to sign a document that said I wouldn't say anything nasty or disparaging about the Archdiocese. I had to sign a document that said I would not sue the Archdiocese. And I looked at Jim and I said, I'm not going to do any of that.
That's hard for the whole family, I would think. You know what I mean? It's not just Mike. None of us all just live in a bubble. You know, what we do and what affects us affects other people. So that's why I feel like I could say that. That had to be very difficult for him, you know what I mean? And knowing Mike, I'm sure it was. You know, Mike may not express that, but I'm sure it hurt his feelings in a great way, you know what I mean? I'm sure it hurt him.
And he told me that my mom and dad were gonna be disappointed in me, and that if I didn't, you know, sign these documents, you know, I wouldn't be living up your daddy's a good Catholic, Mike, and he'll be disappointed in you. And that's when I said, thanks for your time, but I gotta go. because I knew I was about to say something I shouldn't have said. And I asked for documents. I asked for paper. I said, I want a document that tells me why I'm in this position, and I still don't have it. So, you know, that's kind of the full story. I got a real glimpse into how the Archdiocese plays ball. I didn't want to believe this Orwellian thought police thing was real, but it is. And now, at least, I guess the Archdiocese has had the courage to put it in black and white. I obviously say that real tongue-in-cheek. But now you know that you're not allowed to think independently outside of your workplace. You also know that you're not allowed to make choices behind your bedroom closed door without permission from your employer.
Cincinnati Voice of the Faithful is the group behind these billboards. One of its members, Kathy Wire, told us tonight the group believes the contract is unethical and does not promote a safe and healthy learning environment.
Well, Cherie, at least 100 Catholic teachers, students, and parents protested out here at Fountain Square. Their message to the Archdiocese is fix the contract. Protesters are calling on the Archdiocese to fix the morality clause in the teacher ministry contract.
The message is that these new, very strict conditions of the Archdiocesan school contract go so counter to the message of love and inclusion that Pope Francis is giving to the world.
Being terminated put me in, gave me a larger footprint than I had previously, and it was overnight, literally. I went from being a guy talking about social justice and teaching about social justice and fighting the man to a guy doing those same things that a lot more people are paying attention to. So, again, I had planned to run for city council in 2013. And then again, I pushed that back to 2017 because it was looking like I was going to be this new CEO, right, of Purcell Marion. So God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes God doesn't work in mysterious ways, right? And this one didn't seem mysterious to me. There was still time to run. And, in the campaign, while grueling, I made a lot more friends. I made a lot more connections. People came to respect me and my stance regarding, solidarity with poor people more. And now, in my current job, I have a damn near endless amount of human resources I can tap into.
I think in order to serve people, man, you have to be able to accept people where they are. You have to be able to understand and stand on the truth. Mike is going to stand on the truth no matter what that truth is. He's not going to cloud it. He's not going to shade it any type of way. He's not going to put a new twist on it. It's what it is. And Mike has the capacity to stay firm on what he believes in, man. He's not going to go in the city hall or DC and be influenced by, the other goings on. You know what I mean? A political institution. He's not going to be dictated by that. He's going to be dictated by his feelings and what he knows to be true, man. What's the right thing to do? That's who Mike is. What's the right thing to do?
What I hope to accomplish with my current job as Director of Engagement and Development at Community Matters in Lower Price Hill is to what I've always hoped to accomplish, and that's empower the constituents with whom I work. So in the classroom, my constituents were my students. At Choices Cafe, I worked with folks with felony convictions to get them employed. Those were my constituents. On the drop-in center board, my constituents were the homeless population in Cincinnati. At Wordplay, when I was board chair, my constituents were young children who were not at age-appropriate reading level by grade 3. And here, my constituents are the neighbors of Lower Price Hill, a neighborhood where the median family income is $9,600 a year, which is about what 1 year at Moeller costs, and that's for a whole year, for a family. We have 67% joblessness rate. Dropout rate at our neighborhood school Oilers about 47%, but it's going up. They're doing great things there. And so my job is to look at properties that we own, this beautiful historic church that we're sitting in here being one of them, and then engage the community to see what the community wants in those properties. Oftentimes community development work comes from the top down, and you have big conglomerates and big money, and big money is not a bad thing in and of itself. I'm not that guy. But big money coming in saying, here's what you need to not be poor. And that never works. As opposed to, hey, you're my neighbors and my friends, I have the ability, because of these connections and because of I was able to go to preschool and high school and a great college and get 2 postgraduate degrees because my father was able to help me do that. My goal in my life is to use those blessings to then empower these other folks and my friends, my neighbors in Lower Price Hill or wherever I am at the time. And right now it's here and it makes sense for me to be here, I think. So, you know, I guess my goal is to be a good advocate and a good voice on behalf of folks without one, and to ideally help make their lives, help them make their own lives a little better.
I know I could ignite the people like Obama. I wish I could ignite the people like Obama. I know I should ignite the people like Obama. The people ignite the people like Obama.